So what did we do really by forcing? It doesn't make sense. So forcing does not make sense, period. And that goes, let me answer that question if it's going to come. Actually I mentioned the verse, no compulsion in religion. So when they say Islam was spread by the sword, let's take the gun now. There are no swords. So if I'm holding a gun to somebody's head and say, believe, there are two options. Either I actually believe and then I'm an idiot, but on the other hand, if I say, yes, I believe just to alleviate this problem and go ahead, so what did I really accomplish? The one who wants to force somebody else to believe. It does not make sense. And it does not make you stay, even if you did it out of fear then, it does not make you stay forever. You will hate it and you will rebel and otherwise. This is just a human nature. So this false assumption that Islam spread by the sword is really, does not make sense. So that answers that. Was there another part in your question?
Yes. The treatment of women.
In general, okay. Very good, thank you.
In terms of a rape.
Oh, well, thank you for that example. I heard this also in Pakistan or Afghanistan. A woman was raped and then the village council punished her or something like that. Okay, let me tell you something. I heard, and I'm not sure if it's true. Actually, I watched it on, the Globe Trekker show on PBS. They did the show about Pakistan, I think. There are certain areas that are not remotely connected to Islam. And they did something, I cannot really mention it, but it's really far away from the teachings, it's far away from the honor of a human being, let alone a Muslim. So this council, when they did that, I have no idea who these people are, what they were doing, what's anything. In case of rape, the person would be actually getting who raped, getting the capital punishment. The person who did it, not the victim. So I don't understand what happened then and there. But again, I want to caution everybody, when you hear this, you either hear it from Fox or CNN or PBS or whatever. Well, there is slanted coverage against anything Islam and Muslim, and you need to filter what you get. It might not be as hype as it seems and sounds, you know what I mean? But again, I'm sure this story is true, that the council wanted to punish the woman. But what is the rest of the story? For what and why and what happened? And I really didn't bother following because I'm too busy with what's here. I mean, it really hurt me so much. And it hurt my image as a Muslim, and people see me, you're from that, So anyway, absolutely not. But let's talk about the general treatment of women in Islam. Prophet Muhammad, in the Quran, Allah told the wives of Prophet Muhammad to report what happens in their houses, the houses of the Prophet, to the Muslims in general. Because the Prophet sits outside in the mosque or in the market or at war or whatever, and he teaches outside. But what happens inside the home? We spend half of our time in the home with our wives and children. So what happens there? You need to teach the people what happens there. So they were mandated to teach what happens in their homes. And it reached minute details in these teachings, that every aspect of life was told by these women, the wives of the Prophet. In one incident, which might confirm that, even though if the saying itself is not true, the Prophet said about one of his wives, take half of your religion from this one, because half of the time is spent at the home, you know what I mean? So when it comes to equality, everything is equal in spirituality. Okay, there is no difference. The original sin in Islam, it is different from Christianity, in which they both committed the sin. Eve did not start from a Muslim perspective. They both did it. They are both equally guilty. Okay? So that eliminates the problem of women that we're still facing in this country until today. Okay, from the very beginning. So now, The example that some people use to say that Islam does not equate between men and women, in the issue of inheritance. I have 2 sisters and 1 brother. Our inheritance is divided, 2 for me, 1 for my sister, the shares. So let's say it's 100,000. If it's me and my sister only, so I get 75 and she get 20, whatever, 2 to 1. I was good at math before. Okay. Why is that? That's an apparent direct inequality. But when you know the context, when you understand the teachings as a whole, you realize that in Islam, the man, the male, the husband, the father, the brother, is responsible, okay, will be judged based on him taking care of the ladies in his house. Okay, so I'm responsible as the teachings. I'm not talking about realities that we're living today because of current economic situations and otherwise, but I am responsible for providing for my wife. The money that I get from inheritance will be spent on me, on her, on the children, and otherwise. Her money is hers. She buys popcorn, she buys candy, that's her money. I don't touch it, I don't care. So there is a separate financial entity between men and women. The woman does not belong to the man. The woman does not take the name of the man, although we do it these days because of legal issues here. But where I'm from Egypt, and everywhere else in the Muslim world, the woman keeps her maiden name. That's what her name is. She does not belong to no one. She's her own entity. Muslim women had the right to vote from inception. We didn't get the right to vote in this country, I guess, in 1922 or something. So if we can go forever on this issue, there is equality in everything, but men and women are not equal. I cannot give the same size pants to my sister. It doesn't work. She's a different size than me. So we have certain differences, biological and otherwise, that require different set of treatments for each of the genders. But what we're talking about really is fairness and not equality. Is it fair or not? And that's, we can go on forever, but
good morning. I have sort of a 3-part question. Very quick.
Speak up so they
Okay. One is, what does the broader Islamic communities, in terms of American blacks and how they have interpreted, for example, the black Muslims in this country, be interested in how do you see their movement and what they've done with Islam and how they have interpreted it? 1. 2, could you speak a little bit more specifically about your experiences on Staten Island in terms of Muslims and how they've been treated in the schools, in the broader community, any specific incidents? And thirdly, what do you think the reaction is in the Arabic world for our President Obama, in terms of how he's changed things? Well, has he changed the conversation at all?
Sure, thank you very much.